Can you all see the sharing slide? Okay, thank you. Right, so basically today we're doing this session as a way of following up the session we had back in November, where you're starting to discuss your research, potential research ideas. And back then in November, when you were writing your interest in developing that potential idea into research project, and we did ask you to think about what would be the TESOL dimension for your dissertation, and how is that connected to the international education dimension. And that's mainly the question that we're going to be reflecting on once you have an idea, clear idea of what you would be doing for dissertation. So that's us. If you see us there, can you give us a wave? I'm sure you are familiar with us at this point in time. If not, that's a problem.
Yeah, I think we've had enough of us by now, actually.
So there you go. As I said, by the end of this session, you would have reflected on what makes your dissertation or research project relevant to the fields of TESOL and international education. As I said, back in November, we did start with that question when you were thinking about potential research topics for either your literature review, and then you carry on that, the development of those ideas, and you have had, we hope that you have contacted your supervisors and had those conversations. So if you are in the TESOL pathway, you took the unit Approaches and Methods to TESOL in semester 2. Some of you may have taken other modules, more general or more particular to, English language focus in semester 1. But as a core unit, this is a unit in semester 2, Approaches and Methods to TESOL, that you should have taken this semester. Now, I think there might be people, non-TESOL people, that might have taken this unit. That's the case of a couple of students that I know of. For those students that took this unit, but they're not TESOL pathway, they don't really need to worry about, anything of, making their dissertation particular to this field. But if this is your TESOL pathway, if this is what you signed up for, then that is, the thing that you need to be focusing on. There you go. So basically, what we mean by TESOL pathway and international education. There you go. So when we talk about TESOL pathway, we are thinking that your research projects are focused on an aspect of language education, and that includes English language teaching and English language learning. And you mentioned, Zeynep, that other languages could be also incorporated, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough if they want to apply what we've been teaching around. Sort of, we're using English as the focus language, if you like, for our unit. But of course, this doesn't mean, if anyone wants to take this into Chinese teaching and learning, they can do that. They can work, they can look, investigate or do research with Chinese teachers who are teaching Chinese in the UK. So I think there's definitely a flexibility there. Yeah.
Excellent. And then one of the tips that we can, encourage you to think about is, when you're looking at your research project focus, is what would be the implications of doing that research, which is focused on that language education aspect. What would be the implication of that research for research on language education, for instance? So always thinking about the implications. Is this going to shape the fields of TESOL, the fields of language education? That is kind of the tip we want you to think of when you are, thinking of that potential research project. Yes, Zainab.
Yeah, so just on that point, so I think that is probably one of the, if anyone is still undecided or not, or wondering whether their research is within the TESOL sort of focus, then that might be a really good way to actually ascertain that, because you could say, has my research got any implications for language education? So just asking that question, has it got implications for teachers of language? Has it got any implications, policy, whatever it might be, training or policy for language learners? So I think that's a good way to kind of, if you're in any doubt, to answer that. Sorry.
Definitely. Now, and I think, some of you might still exploring, what would be the best focus. So, but that's the tip, if you are thinking, well, how does this connect? Well, then your research project, it needs to have those kind of implications on language education in the TESOL field, and more particularly as well. Now, the international dimension, the way I can give you a bit of guidance if you're still kind of wondering where is that connection. You have had talks with your supervisors who all have experiences in the international field, and that's why they're your supervisors. But if you really want to clearly in your mind have that understanding, then what you can do is to go back to the program handbook, which you can find in the organizations tab of Blackboard, or in this link. I'm going to send these materials after the session, so you could always click on this link here. And then on page 9, there are a lot of conceptualizations of what could make your dissertation international education based like. So you have a list there. So that's there for you to explore as well. But in any doubt, any questions, your supervisor are the first point in contact. But again, I think this is really useful, because when you click there and you go all the way down to page, what page was it, 9, you can think about, where the international dimension is in your projects. So we're talking about international contexts, international people, international languages, international ethics, internationalization, international as intercultural, international as comparative, international methods. Some of you might be including these international methods as part of your dissertation. International competence, and I'm sure that there are more in the dimension that you could discuss with your supervisors. The idea is that you make that dimension explicit in your dissertation, as well as a TESOL, which is what we consider would be the main focus of your exploration. Let's go to the next page. Just as some examples, these examples include, but are not limited to, this is not an exhaustive list of what you could consider. There are more things. You could focus on exploring TESOL teachers, TESOL students, English as foreign language, English as a second language, English as lingua franca, anything related to educational policies that are English language, based. You have a lot of, topics that we explore in methods and approaches units as well, curriculum design, and other stakeholders as well. That could, anyone who is relevant to the field of language education could also be, potential focus for your dissertation. This could include parents. This could include, some people that work in the, in the government, like the Ministry of Education, that do look at, probably, assessment, such as, what can we think about the IELTS, the TOEFL, anything that is relevant to the whole and shapes the landscape of language education and TESOL, that could be also part of your focus. Yeah. So I did send these examples in the email, not models. just clarifying that. So these are some examples of some TESOL pathway-based dissertation projects from two of my students, and there's one that I borrowed from Zeynep as well. So just have a look at these 3 examples. And anyone who wants to put in the chat, what would be the TESOL dimension and what would be the international dimension? Could you just let us know in the chat box? So we'll give you a couple of minutes to think of the answer. And also tell us whether these are clear in the title. Are these dimensions clear in the title? Any thoughts? Probably they are thinking still. Okay, I'm just going to give you another hint there. And tell us, tell us what color is the TESOL dimension and what color is the intercultural dimension, intercultural international dimension. Come on, we need to see some answers, please. Yes, correct, yes. So yes, yellow, the TESOL dimension, and the international dimension. What color? Yes, excellent, green. Right, so basically, I think the idea is then that if these dimensions are still not very clear in your title, you could work on that after the session. But the main purpose of the session is to get you talking about what your potential working title, that main topic for your exploration is, and then think about these dimensions. Are they explicit in your title, and how would you be addressing them later on as part of your research project? So that is the conversation we're going to have, but that this needs to come from you because you're the ones who are selecting this topic. So we will have a 20-minute conversation. You're going to be working with somebody else in a room. This is an informal chat. It's not assessed. We just want to give you feedback. The idea is then we will send a couple of you or 3 people in a group. You share your working title, or what title is the one you're thinking of for your dissertation. It doesn't have to be perfect. We are not looking for perfection. We're looking to see how we can improve things if things are not explicit as as we want them to be in this case. In that conversation, you can choose who will be facilitating or acting as a person promoting or eliciting responses from other group members, and who will tell us a little bit when we come back to this group, the bigger group in plenary, tell us what kind of things were discussed, if you guys have any questions. And that's going to be the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to put the instructions on the chat box in case you guys forget.
Naomi, can I
Yeah,
just say
sure.
something here, linking it to your previous slides? The examples, the models all had like people, like international students, international teachers, but their titles can have like internationalized curriculum. Yeah.
Yes.
Or like international policy borrowing. These are the key concepts they've covered. So they shouldn't just focus on, or they shouldn't just feel, oh, it's international students or international teachers, but the title can have like curriculum, language policy, and assessment in international schools. So
Yeah.
just wanted to highlight that it's
Yes.
not just international students or international teachers.
Yes, exactly. So this was just a point of getting you to think about your own topic, but also getting you to identify the 2 key points that we want you to go away and thinking of and reflecting on for the project. But definitely they don't have to be exactly worded in the examples we gave. That's why I said not models. You should treat them as just something that somebody else has done, but then focus on what you have, what your thoughts or ongoing ideas
But
are.
I quite like the two colors. I think it would help them to check whether they have two colors in their titles.
Well, yes, true. Okay, the instructions are now on your screen, and you should have as well, yeah, on your screen and also on your chat box. But yes, you're right, Horan. Okay, so we'll open some. I'll stop sharing now my screen. I'll stop recording as well. And the idea is that you spend 20 minutes talking to other people, and we'll be visiting your groups. Yay. Yay. Really interesting conversation in our group, Zainab. I don't know about your group. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. So in my group, there was Yidu only who was sort of active, if you like, and we had a really good discussion there as well. And he'd just gotten approval for his I don't know, for the proposal.
Ethics?
I think, yeah, this is that what you said. I see here now, Yidu, yeah, this morning. So it's yeah, really useful conversation as well. Yeah.
That's good. I think from our group, what I can gather is that the TESOL dimension is very, very clear, but
The
we're still in the back is still like not so clear. Is the international dimension? How does that link to the international dimension?
That's interesting. Yeah, yeah, that's interesting.
So for that, then, as we were saying in that group, you could always, go back to the supervisor and make sure that you're clear in that, because you need to actively, explicitly be writing about that connection. Not just assume that the reader will understand. You need to make sure you are connecting those two dimensions very clearly.
So in the dissertation, that needs to be clear. That connection needs
very clear. Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And any other thoughts, Horan? Anything else you would want to say?
No, not really. We just said that they could link it to context, they could link it to findings. Like they can even link it, as long as it's explicit, they can even do it in the findings section or discussion, where they can actually use literature to show how their findings relate to other contexts and make it international. That's what we said. Nothing else.
Interesting. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. These are our concluding thoughts. So just remember, these two dimensions need to be clear, explicitly stated. Those connections, as you write about them, they need to come through, and we need to be, we need to see them there. As I said, don't just assume that the reader will understand everything you want to say. Make sure you are explicitly stating these connections that you make through, as Horan said, through the findings, through your exploration of the literature, or your methodology. So you have options in how you want to address the international dimension. You just need to make sure you do that. And if you are in doubt about, what makes your topic relevant to TESOL, we're here. You can contact me as a pathway lead, or if you feel more comfortable because Horan or Zainab have been your tutors, you could also, ask them first, and then you can refer. We're always here, as a team to support you. And as well, if your supervisor is not so clear about what makes your dissertation TESOL as well, you can ask them to contact us on your behalf, and we could have those conversations as well with your supervisors as well, and yourself. And apart from that, we just want you to, we want to wish you good luck in your projects and enjoy, your research exploration.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Daly, for the session.
No,
And
thank you for
everyone
coming.
for coming, and to everyone for staying till the end.
It was really good.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
We'll see you very soon. So
See you very soon.
grab a bite to eat. Yeah.
We have a different link for the lesson, for the class, yeah?
Yes, that's true. Actually, we could have. I didn't think to